Do you ever sit down with your journal, open it, and feel like everything needs to be perfect? And then you end up not creating anything because there's just too much pressure of the blank page or making that first mark, worrying about whether you're going to make a mistake in your journal. This video is your sign to embrace imperfection. It's your secret weapon to finding your style and to enjoying the process of journaling. I'm going to share some tips and techniques for ways that you can embrace imperfection in your journaling and how it can really help you on your creative journey, letting go of perfectionism in journaling and just focusing on the process of creating. There's no rules anyway that you can break, there's no mistakes that you can make. It's all just about having fun and exploring different ideas and discovering your own unique voice. And if you're new here, hey, my name is Meg. I make videos all about journaling and creativity. And whilst I'm working here in my altered book, doing a little bit of a journal with me process, I'm going to chat you through some tips and just some general thoughts that I have on perfectionism and on finding your style, because oftentimes I'm asked this question a lot and I feel like the two of these topics really go hand in hand together, because in asking how do I find my style, there's often an underlying fear of making mistakes and doing the wrong thing, and then likewise the fear of, the perfectionism and not wanting to make those mistakes will stop you from the experimenting and the trying of new things that will inevitably help you and lead you on the way to finding your style. So I really do feel that these two things are so intrinsically linked, and I wanted to chat through some thoughts on how you might be able to tackle this within your own journaling practice and some of the things that I have found helpful as I have been working through this. And it's definitely a journey. There's by no means sort of an end point. I really do think that it is a journaling practice in the same way that it is an art practice, and there's a constant learning and developing and honing of skills. And so I hope that this is useful for you guys. I know I had some comments in my last video that you really enjoyed this format of me sharing some ideas whilst sharing also the process here of the actual journaling as well. So I think one of the most important things that we sometimes forget when it comes to mistakes in quotation marks is that, so for example, say if you've spilt some paint on your page or you've done something that you don't like, instead of panicking and starting over, they can really be like learning opportunities. So you can think about how you might be able to fix the page or cover it up, how you might want to, even rip off part of a page if you decide you don't like it, and how that could really transform the composition of the page that you've got going on. Is it an opportunity that you can add some texture, some color to your pages? Can you create like a design element from it? Rather than being worried about doing something wrong, try and use your journal as more of a playground and embrace those different aspects of journaling that we can come across as we are creating our pages. So what are some of the practical things that you can do in your journal to help you on your style journey and to really embrace this idea of being imperfect and just showing up as you are? So some of the things that I like to do might include setting a time limit for your page and just seeing what you can create in 5 minutes maybe, or 10 minutes. Putting a constraint on something, whether it is that time limit or it could even be with supplies, using, say, things that only are a certain color or a certain medium, or saying that I'm only going to use these 5 things. Those constraints can really help you to push yourself creatively to think about different ways that you can use those materials or work within that time frame to create something. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done. I think that's the main thing here. And there's always something that you can learn for the next page that you do, and things that you can reference from previous journals in order to start maybe feeling more comfortable with the new materials that you're testing out. And even if you don't like something, I always say that's still something that you've learned, because you've learned that you don't like it. You know, I remember when I used to do art courses at school, and they would have us do the same drawing but in like 5 different mediums. You know, it might be a pencil drawing, and then it might be a watercolor sketch, and then it might be a oil pastel picture. And I used to hate doing the oil pastels because I hated the texture, and I learnt that that wasn't something that I liked to do, and so it's not something that's within my style. And just that's how sometimes I feel like, yes, your style is something that you feel comfortable with, and obviously we don't want to get stuck in our comfort zone. We do want to try new things, and I think it's all about that process of knowing what you like, but then still being open to trying new things that might expand the things that you like. So, you know, if I see a new technique and it's got something to do with botanical florals, and somebody's got a really cool way of creating something to do with that, then that's something that I'm going to try, because I know that that's something that I'm probably going to enjoy. Or there might just be one aspect of that that I'll pull into my own work. And I think this is why prompt lists can sometimes be really helpful with trying different things, because you might be tasked with something on day 6 that you wouldn't necessarily be drawn to, but you know, let's have a go and see how you might do your take on that, because nobody's going to respond to a prompt in the exact same way. We're all going to do different things. I have a bunch of prompts from previous junk journal challenges. If that's something you're interested in, I'll leave a link down below. I do monthly challenges twice a year with prompt lists, and so there's a bunch of different ideas if you want to dive into some prompts for your journaling. I personally really love them for trying out different things. It's just a way that you can push yourself creatively, and you know, don't have those expectations of creating a masterpiece. It's just about that practice and showing up and just practicing, essentially. I often find a lot of times my answer to questions that people will have for me about different things, whether it's handwriting or collage or anything, is always practice. And I think it's so true when it comes to finding your personal journaling style as well, because there isn't one end goal, I don't think. You don't suddenly reach your style and then that is it. Like, we are constantly evolving and finding new things that we like and having different phases in our art practice. And so I'm just kind of going with what I feel like I like at the minute and seeing where that takes me. And there's so much joy to be had in that. You know, you don't have to be doing the same things as everyone else if you don't want to. If you do like them, that's great. But, you know, please don't feel that pressure to feel like you have to be creating certain things or using certain colour schemes because you've seen them in other people's journals. At the end of the day, your journal is yours and you can make it however you want to have that be for your own creative practice. And if you're enjoying that, then that's the main thing. So play around with the different materials and layouts and compositions on your page. Maybe you want to do the exact same materials but do 2 or 3 different compositions and see which one you like. Or maybe you'll have one that has a central focal point, one that has collage arranged on the side of the page, for example. You could play around with the placement of different elements on your page to see not only maybe what you think is visually appealing, but also the way that you like to construct things within your journal pages. So for example, something that I really like to do is have clusters of my collage elements, and you'll see here they're all kind of arranged overlapping one another, and I really like the layered textural effect that gives to my pages, and working with the soft muted colours as well. And I think embracing these ideas can help you to feel more connected to your journaling and developing that unique style that everybody has. You know, we're all sort of expressing our creativity differently within our journals. So please do embrace your own unique style. Don't be afraid to try new things. You know, we're not all going to be perfect the first time, the 50th time. All that matters is that we are showing up and we're having fun making marks and making a mess within our journals. So I hope you found some of these tips and just general thoughts on imperfection and finding your own style helpful. Let me know in the comments if there are any other topics that you'd like me to cover in videos like this. Here's a playlist that you can watch with more altered book videos just like this one. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.